Hi guys, in this video I would be talking about my experience in a toxic relationship. It was quite emotionally and verbally abusive. There was nothing physical. There was no physical abuse, but it was still a really bad relationship, and I wanted to basically share my experience. It happened 2 years ago now, I think, so it's kind of a while, but I just felt like talking about it. And I think we were going good for a good month, and then this guy turned bipolar on me. The way he was acting, he just started he broke up with me for one day because I wasn't texting him enough or something stupid. He could easily have talked about that with me. The worst part of it was in the middle of town, and there were these group of guys that were way older than him, like a gang of guys, and he told me that they was a youth leader, one of them. But now that I think about it, why would his old youth leader be loitering around the shopping centre every day if he actually had a job? They were just roadmen, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if they were drug dealers, to be honest. And anyway, he started bitching to them about me, all these stuff about me, and they convinced him to break up with me or something, but they were kind of racist according to him, because apparently they didn't like when white people date mixed race or black people or something. Yeah, so I would so in the future when I was in the mixed center or whatever, I had to we had to pretend we were friends, so they wouldn't say anything, which is ridiculous. Looking back at it now, I would have just told them to F off, to be honest, but if I was him, because that's just stupid. Okay, so we were walking in town, and I remember saying I love you, and he didn't say anything back, and we were walking outside Vic Center, and then he just burst out at me for no reason, saying that all these horrible things to me, and made me cry. And then this is in the busiest street in Nottingham, right? And then I was just, and then this fury, I just suddenly, even though I was crying, I suddenly got really pissed off, which is something I don't really do ever. And I told him to basically F off, and then he just walked away, and that was it. And the next day he came back to me saying oh yeah, I cried all the way home and this and that, and I'm what, how do you fucking think I felt? All these people were around when I screamed at him, not screamed, shouted at him, so basically. So yeah, it was just crazy, and honestly, for me, it's so a blur because so much shit happened in a couple months. I can't even explain it. He would just break up with me constantly over really stupid shit, or just no reason. He would think I was cheating on him. I went to shopping. I let him know I was going shopping with this friend I had. That was a guy that I knew for a couple of years or whatever, and he had a girlfriend, and we was just gonna go shopping together. And then he was thought I was doing it with him in the toilets and stuff. He was just really insecure and stuff. But I guess I should have seen some of the signs, because one time he was doing some charity thing or something, I can't remember, and he met a girl there, and he kept telling me that this girl was obsessed with him and wouldn't stop texting him and stuff. And then I'd met her, and she was a bit weird, to be fair, because I remember one day when I was waiting for him in one of the charity building things, he was oh yeah, can you tell your boyfriend something? I can't remember what it was now, even though she just went into the room that he was in, and I'm why don't you just tell yourself? But yeah, whatever. And then I saw her in town, and he saw her in the Vic Center, sorry, and he made me chase after her and stuff. And then we went, and she went into this card shop, and he was trying to get me to wave at her, and I didn't want to, because I'm not a rude person like that. So he grabbed my hand and forced me to wave at her, and he was I'm going in there, and then he went in there. I didn't know what he was saying and stuff, but I just saw her starting to cry, and I was what the fuck? That is horrible. Yeah, so I guess I shouldn't only treat people girls badly, but I just ignored the sign again. And Yeah, I think there was periods of time where he just like was nasty to me and broke up with me and just made me miserable over literally nothing. Because he always thought I was cheating on him or something stupid. And like, I remember one time we broke up, he was like, I didn't decide to have a feeling he was doing dodgy things. I honestly, I like being a player or whatever. And like, he told me one time, like when I got back together with him, he told me he had this friend that was a girl, and that if it was okay that he went to her house and they were just friends and they would keep like the door open or whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, like that's okay because I trusted him. Like I never thought anyone would cheat on me, you know. And like, yeah, and basically after the relationship, I found out that he was basically cheating. I think he was cheating, or he was doing like he admitted it afterwards to like whatever, and like he made this girl sound like he was like, oh, he's a famous footballer and stuff. She is, and not famous. I mean like a footballer for like Notts Forest, and like she can drive and this and that. And then I found her Instagram like after we'd broken up, and I was like, this girl is like way below my league. Like she wasn't that. She really wasn't very lucky. And so I was like, he cheated on me with that thing. Like what the hell? So yeah. Anyway, like basically the reason why we ended it in general was because I was like in bed next to him and he started being like shifty with his phone and stuff. So I was like, why are you being shifty? And I like gently took his phone out of his hand like to look, and he like later claimed that I grabbed it, but it's rubbish. Like I'm the weakest person in the world. He easily could have just held onto it and I wouldn't have been able to take it. And this girl was like, yeah, I don't want to be second choice the girl I was just talking about and all this stuff. And like I was like really upset. Like I wasn't even angry, I was just like speechless. And then he was saying, oh yeah, I just used her to get free football tickets and like this and that. And like because I was at his house, like I couldn't really like at midnight I couldn't really break up with him because like, you know, I get kicked out whatever. And he didn't live in a very like safe area, to be honest. Like it was quite a dodgy area. Anyway, so yeah, then like I went to Germany on our college trip and he argued with me for the whole flipping trip and made my fucking trip terrible, miserable. He wouldn't stop fucking arguing with me. Like, I can't even remember what it was about. And in the end, like I just ended up like thinking like something wasn't right with this girl. This is like before I knew about it. Like basically admitted to it. But like there were times when we wasn't together, he would, every time we broke up, it would get like worse and worse. Like he started saying shit like, you made me want to kill myself. And like I would say stuff like, well, I'm sorry you felt that way, but that's a bit dramatic. Like, can you not say stuff like that because it hurts my feelings? And you'll be like, see, like you're so selfish, like you only think about yourself. Or be like, oh, you made me do this to my hand. Like, because one time he had like a busted hand and like a black eye because he was getting in fights with people, apparently because of me when I hadn't even done anything. He was just crazy. I don't know. The annoying thing is because we had a really good time like in bed and stuff, but we didn't have a very good relationship at all. Like he was a bit disrespectful. Like I remember times where he'd be like, oh, I'd be like, do you like this? And he'd either be like, oh, it's shit, or he'd be like, oh, I do not like it. Like you would never admit if you like something. Like it will kind of hurt my feelings a lot, to be honest. And like I remember one time he literally broke up with me like the day before, like on Valentine's Day, or like the day before. And literally like the day before that we were in like a shop looking at like Valentine's cards and talking about what we wanted, and the next day he just fucking like, I swear he did it on purpose, honestly, like. And then in between that time he would like sleep with other people, which I obviously didn't know about till like after. And there were times where like he would say stuff about my body, like if he wasn't together he would be like, oh, you're this is like, he would say really horrible stuff about it. yeah, like he would know I was insecure about and basically like use it against me and stuff. But I know he just would say that stuff to hurt me. God, there's just like so much stuff. Like there was this one time where he's like, I had to delete all the guys on my Snapchat if I wanted to stay with him and stuff. I'm like, yeah, like I told him before to like delete his dating apps and stuff, but that's only because I knew he was doing shit. Like I wasn't the dodgy person. Apparently that's like controlling of me or something. Times where he would like want to meet up with me and like try and get me to his house and stuff. And like we ended up being like friends with benefits for a day, and then I was like, I'm sorry, but I still have feelings for you. Like I don't want to be friends with benefits with you. Like yeah. And then like this is like the next day after, and he was like, I knew you would do this. You just used me for sex and stuff. And I'm like, what? Like more like you were using me for sex. Like you would always like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's like a form of abuse when someone accuses you of stuff they're doing. I forgot what the name of it is called now. Oh yeah, actually, I remember one more thing. Is that when I was from 11 p.m. till like 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. I argued the whole night. I nearly threw up, and I had to go eat something because I felt so fucking sick. Like I was arguing with him because I was not backing down. Like looking back at it now, I probably would have just ended it. But, yeah. I just liked him too much, or I didn't really like him, but you like feelings wise. Sometimes you can't control it. And it was all over to the fact that I sent a selfie to try and make him happy, and then like I said, oh sorry, like actually I was meant to send it to this person because he seemed pissed off about it, so I lied. I was like, oh yeah, sorry, I sent this to the wrong person. And he was like, so you're sending pictures to other guys and like flipping out on me. And this was when we wasn't even together. It was like one of the times when we weren't even together, and that's what the whole argument was about. And then yeah, I ended off in the end because on the phone I was like, I remember I was upset. I was like crying to him about what happened with that girl and how I think it was shady and this and that, and he would be like, oh, so you, and I was crying like you didn't care about my feelings. He was just like, oh, so you're calling me a player and like all this stuff, and obviously he had actually done something, which I found out later, but you know, like, and I'm like I was like, I can't deal with this guy anymore. And then funny enough, I think it was a couple months ago, like he messaged me on Instagram, like trying to say like, oh yeah, I'm like sorry for what happened between us, and like I forgave him, and we just had like a normal conversation. And then this conversation got like a bit sexual and stuff, so I like rejected him. He would like, it was so cringe what he was saying. Like I was like, I couldn't do it with you again. Like I couldn't even look at you like after what we did and stuff. He's like, oh yeah, well you can just do it to me when you're angry and like take it out on me. And I'm like, no, like what the heck, I'm not doing that. And then like eventually he got the hint, and then he got really pissed off at me, and he started saying stuff that he used to say about my body when like if we wasn't together, like just to hurt my feelings. Do you know what I mean? He'd be like, oh, good anyway. Just like, you know, and I said, look, I know you by now. I know you now. Like, I know you're just saying that to hurt me and stuff. And he'd be like, oh yeah, I never got you anything, like, because I didn't want to, and it's not that I didn't have enough money and this and that, because at the time he like had barely any money, and he used to like mooch off me. Like if I would buy food, like he would like eat my chips, like eat some of my food because he didn't have enough to like buy his food. I did kind of feel bad for that, but yeah. And he was like basically saying he used me for his money. He was like, oh yeah, you got me these gloves and they weren't even like from my birthday, like what a shit present and stuff. Like they were night gloves that cost like £20, and they were really warm, like they were good gloves. But the only reason why I got him gloves, like we hadn't even dating that long anyway, like less than a month, so I wasn't even gonna get him anything like that good. But I only brought new gloves because I stole his. Like I didn't literally steal it, but I took it and gave it back to him. So I just brought him new ones. Yeah, so he basically made to like using me for money and shit. I'm like, that's sad. So you use me so you could like, eat food and shit. Like what? But yeah, he just would say that stuff when he gets rejected because he's just immature. And then like on his Instagram bio, it had that he had a girlfriend for ages. It still says it now. But during that time, he told me that they had broken up and it wasn't on their bio anymore. And literally, I checked like 2 days later or 3 days later, after he tried to sleep with me or like get with me, and he was literally back with her, and I was like, what the and I'm like, I feel sorry for that girl, because it kind of reminds me what happened to me when I was dating with this guy. And I'm like, I am glad this person's out of my life, because, no, crazy guy. I know that's one of the things toxic people say, because he isn't the only insecure guy that I've been with. They say the exact same sentence, which creeped me out, because I dated another guy that was insecure like ages ago, like years and years ago, and he was like, he would say, oh, you don't love me, but it's not that he doesn't love me, it's that not that I don't love him, it's that he doesn't love me, you know, because it's just what's called reverse psychology. Yeah, that's the word I was trying to use. And not my ex, the one I'm talking about now, he said that line, but instead of breaking up with him like I did with the last guy, because I wasn't really bothered about the insecure guy from ages ago, because like I was just like, yeah, let's just break up then, because I wasn't really that into him. But because I was into this guy, I stayed with him, and like progressively it would just get like worse and worse. Like honestly, like I wouldn't be surprised if this guy's end up like physically abusing a girl one day, because he was not mentally with it, to be honest. Like, yeah, he was definitely needed help. And like, you know how miserable I was, upset all the time, like all the time, and he'd be like, yeah, you need to like send me a selfie every morning and do this and that, and fuck's sake, like, yeah, he's pretty much, I know like his last relationship before me, he got cheated on, but it's no excuse to be like that, you know, because I have been kind of played or whatever, but I'm not like that. I'm not like, you know, unless a guy is suspicious, because I know this answer because of what my ex is like. If a guy acts shifty on his phone, you know, that's a very big warning sign. So yeah, I think the thing was, he said that I just wanted a boyfriend and this and that. And I was like, if I just wanted a boyfriend, I would have gone to someone else by now. Because you were crazy. Like, I liked him so much, I just, like, blew everything off and just kept staying with him. Like, kept taking him back and stuff. So, like, basically, the moral of this video is, if you get, like, red flags, like, you shouldn't ignore it and stuff. And they just get worse. Like, they honestly just get worse. Like, for me, it got to a point where it's like, I couldn't take any more of it. And some people would just stay longer, because some people are like that. But like mentally, it was mentally draining, like tiring, exhausting, like not worth it at all, especially considering if you really like love someone or care about them, like you wouldn't treat them like that. And I think that was the problem, that we dated quite fast, we didn't really know each other. Like if I had the chance to get to know him more, I probably would have discovered what he was actually like. I'm hoping, but the problem is he wasn't always like that. Like, he's a very charming person, like very confident, and the funny thing is, that just reminded me of one of the things he said. He was like, oh yeah, I could have had any girl and I chose you and stuff. Like, you know, from the charity thing he was doing or whatever. I don't think it was a charity thing, I forgot what it's called now. It was basically to help young people find jobs and stuff. Yeah, I could have had any other girl. And it's like, well, excuse me, like, not my fault you chose me, like, you know what I mean? They're just to try and guilt trip you. So, yeah, so I hope you guys like my video. Just know that abuse isn't just like physical, and that red flags are very important to look out for. Like, you shouldn't just sweep them under the rug, you know, because it will just get worse until the point of there being so much red flags that it just comes out underneath the rug and you can't cover it up anymore. You know, I'm trying to be metaphoric here, I don't know if it's working very well. Yeah, you gotta just get rid of the rug, get rid of the guy, and just move on.